Please give your undivided attention to Ari Chizkiah. There should be no one talking. Remember that points for the Dvar Torah are not only for the Dvar Torah, but for how well you listen to the other team's Dvar Torah. Divrei Torah, in this case.
Can everyone hear me? All right, good. In today's world, we're constantly surrounded with different messages and distractions, whether they're good or bad, homework, tests, TV, commercials. All these different tools and distractions are all around us. You could be in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, and if you have your special Sprint plug-in for your laptop, you're connected to the internet, you could do work, your boss can call you. We're constantly in this fight between slavery and freedom. On Pesach, we celebrate this duality of our lives. On the one hand, Pesach represents our slavery. We were in Egypt for however many years, 400, 410, whatever, to 40. On the other hand, God saved us and took us out and made us free. But there's a question on that. Did he really make us free? Right? What actually happened? Because we leave Egypt, we're free, and then we come to Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah. And the question is, once Matan Torah happens, we have a whole new set of laws and regulations, 613 things, Kedoshim Tiyu, V'Afarecha Kamocha, this almost unlimited supply of commandments that we have to do on a daily basis. And it's interesting, the Haggadah says, right, we were slaves to Paro, and if God hadn't taken us out, we would still be slaves today. It's a little bit interesting. What does that mean exactly for another time? But basically, the Torah is claiming that God's path is the true path to freedom. So how is that true? So I'd like to take a second and share something interesting with you. In the military, in the Air Force, there's a phenomena for fighter pilots called vertigo. If you're flying at a certain speed and you turn, you can lose your sense of reality. You're not sure what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. And it's really scary because you're flying close to 500 miles an hour or more, and you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's flying. And you have to rely on the control tower and the people on the ground and your instruments in order to get home safely. I think sometimes in life, we experience vertigo in different aspects of our lives. And I'll give you an example. In that room over there, in the Aron, there are many Sifrei Torah, beautiful Sifrei Torah. But I could bring into this room right now, I don't really have one, but I could potentially bring a Sefer Torah, maybe even more beautiful, maybe more decorated, maybe better craftsmanship. But every single person in this room as a Jew would have the responsibility to burn and destroy that Sefer Torah. And at first, it seems unimaginable. The Torah, the most holy object in our tradition, how could it be that we're forced to burn it? And the answer is, you have to have the right perspective. Because what was this Torah? Where does the Torah come from? It comes from a kofar, somebody who either denies God or tries to remove God from this world. It was written by the wrong person, and therefore, it needs to be burned. So we can see that sometimes things that seem a certain way really aren't true. And I would like to apply that to freedom. We often think of freedom as the ability to do what I want right now. I want something, I'm going to go get it. Right? I want to feel a certain way, I want to act a certain way, I want to be a certain way. Right now, I want to be that way. But it's interesting, I actually, if you're ever in Rabbi Huben's Gemara class or Mrs. Greer's English class, you might come up to words that you don't really know. And whenever that happens to me, I try writing it down, and I look on dictionary.com. What does dictionary.com say for freedom? It says the power to determine action without restraint. So what is real freedom? In other words, freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is our power to freedom. Somebody who doesn't think, somebody who just acts, in fact, gives up their freedom. It's somebody who thinks and is logical and determines what they're going to do and how it's going to impact their future. That's somebody who is truly free. And I think I'd like to add one story just to wrap it all up, and I think it really drives the point home. There was once a boy, and he went to the zoo for the day, right? Kids like to go to the zoo, like to watch the animals. And this boy was traveling around the zoo, and there was one animal in particular that confused him. It was perplexing and intriguing, the situation of this animal. It was a lion. And the lion was in a pit that was like 40, 50 feet deep. And the boy was confused because he knew the lion couldn't escape in one jump. But he turned to the keeper of the zoo, the lion keeper, and he said, I don't understand. There are cracks, there are holes in the ledges. Why doesn't he jump from edge to edge, and ultimately he'll escape and we'll be in a lot of trouble? Why doesn't he escape? And the zookeeper turns to him with a smile, smiling at the naivety and the innocence of this child, and says, son, you don't understand. I know he can be free, and you know he can be free, but the lion doesn't know. Every action we do determines whether we're going to be free or whether we're going to be slaves. I know that everyone in this room can be free. God knows that everyone in this room can be free. The real question is, do you know? Thank you.